The Titans are on the road at the Ravens, 6.5-point dogs, 65% of the bets, 57% of the money coming in on the Tennessee Titans. Smash the Ravens. Smash the under a touchdown in this game. Go. Talk me off it.
I hate it because he has looked bad, Lamar, and their offense looks so stagnant right now. But we have to play the situation. It'll buy low team in the Ravens they've played 2 road games. They won one. They look terrible in the other one just because of a monsoon. And we've seen it. I feel like Tannehill, not that he's turned back into a pumpkin, but like I don't have faith in him putting money behind him anymore. With Lamar, I still have the idea in the back of my mind. This guy, if he has a lead, he's going to win. But the statistic I saw, he's 0-6 now when he's down 10 in any game. So that's one of those where I'm happy to take the Ravens. And if you're a lot better, as soon as the Ravens get down 10, you have to ride the trend. You have to take the Titans live because this is getting to a point now with Lamar that he's had real stinker games. And he loses to good teams. That one we had to kind of throw out the Patriots because of the weather. This is not a good team in my mind, the Titans. And I'm happy riding with you and taking the -6.5.
All right. I have no concern. Like that to me is a lock it in pick right now.
All right, I'll put it in.
Well, let's talk about it on Sunday. Panthers -1.5 right now at DraftKings, at home against the Lions. Christian McCaffrey doubtful. Teddy Bridgewater left the game with a right knee injury. I don't know his status right now. But there's no way I'm taking the Lions on the road, like in a game in which is essentially winner wins.
Yeah, I'm cool with passing. I'm definitely going the Lions side in this where you're exactly right. They're finally banged up, the Panthers. They have too many injuries for me to back. I would love to take them here as a home team, but I can't do it. And if they're going to have Galladay back on Detroit, I'm happy to take Detroit. So I'm with you. Let's put on the side. I don't want to put this one in.
Well, it's interesting to me that you like the Lions, though.
Yeah, it's just situational where, like, if I want to back a banged-up Panthers team, it doesn't feel like it's smart form where I had this line of -2.5 for the Detroit. I thought this was going to hang when they put it up just because of the injury. And it's interesting where I feel like they're saying here that Bridgewater's probably going to play, or maybe there's not that much difference between Bridgewater and the backup QB, but I can't do it. I would have to take the Lions here, especially if Teddy's not going to be practicing all week.
Oh, my God. You know what's going to happen.
I know we're putting him in. I hate it.
Sunday's going to come around and you're going to text me and like, by the way, here's what happens on Sunday. On Sunday morning, when you usually text me, I'm at my kitchen counter and I'm getting ready for the 11 a.m. show that we do on at Action Network HQ called Convince Me, where like Chris Raybon from the Action Network podcast and Action Network senior writer and Matthew Friedman from the Action Network and Sean Corner from the Action Network, they all try to convince me of the side, the total, and the player prop I should make. It's a great show, right? So I'm usually prepping when you're doing that. And the mistake I make is I don't bring my notes from my office down to the first floor. And so when you're texting me these things, I don't remember everything we talked about. And I have my notes in front of me. So I know like the Lions are going to be there. And I'm going to like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it. And I'm going to forget how much I hate the Lions in this game.
Yeah, you should just change my name in your context to have a chance to win $1 million. So every time I call you or text you, you'd be like, okay, let me get everything in place here so I can give my best chance to win $1 million.
Yeah, like that time we went 1-4. Hey, now the Steelers are on the road at the Jaguars, 9.5-point favorites. This is an ugly number for me. I'd like to hear what you have this power rated at. Bets and money all coming in on the Steelers. But, like, this team hasn't looked good.
Yeah, and I had this at 10. It's 10.5, so I'm getting value on the Jags. The thing that worries me is I've had 2 straight weeks now. I took the Jags against Houston. They covered that on a little backdoor. Took them against Green Bay because we talked about on the show, the 14, that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
And it ended up coming down to the wire. I think they lose by 4. And
yeah,
again, like I don't want to do it, but we got to take the Jags here, 10.5 against a Pittsburgh team that, if we just go through the history of them and the Jags, why does it feel like every time something happens with the Jags, either beat them or keep the games close? I mean, we all remember that Bortles year. That Bortles is not a good quarterback. He went to Pittsburgh against Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and he outscored them. I think they beat Pittsburgh that year like 44 to like 33 or something crazy like that. So in my mind, it just seems like it's one of those teams that the Pittsburgh always has problems with the Patriots and the Jaguars. And in my mind, I'll take the 10.5 for the Jags, but I don't feel great about it. But it's just a situational play.
But it's also like Mike Tomlin, as a coach, his teams underperform when they are going against really bad teams. We saw it against the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're so right. Where maybe we should just put it in because we've been missing out on the Jags, or we've been getting good numbers, and we've just been too scared to put them in. So maybe we put that on the side as a maybe play this Sunday. Jaguars plus 10.5.
I've got Jags plus 10 question mark. So that way on Sunday, when you text me, I can, have my notes right in front of me and absolutely 100% want to take this out. Patriots on the road, 2-point favorites all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden the Patriots are a juggernaut. 2-point favorites at the Texans.
Only reason it gives me pause is the Patriots have had the Texans number for I can't even remember how many years. But how do we not take the Texans as a home dog here against a Patriots team coming off a huge primetime win in a game that, who knows, maybe the weather wasn't the big factor in it, but I can't see New England stringing together a lot of wins here. This would be their third win in a row. I know the Texans are horrible, and they played horrible against Cleveland, but it's hard for me not to take the Texans here. And I'm hoping this number gets to 3 because then it's an automatic play on the Texans. If this is plus 3, you have to take the Texans.
Okay, I just wrote that down. I think my challenge with the Texans this year is
they're awful.
Well, yeah, they're just a bad football team.
They're bad. Yeah, they're just all around bad.
And it's like I've always been a huge Texans backer and erred on the side of misery when it comes to betting on the Texans. But this year I've been avoiding it, and my Sundays have been a lot more pleasant.
I'm with you on that. That's the hardest part about that division is they have the Jags and Houston in it. They're both 1-7. How do we know the Colts or Titans are even good teams? It's in that division, it's brutal right now.
You know what? Well, obviously, set me up for the transition here. The Philadelphia Eagles on the road at the Browns. The Browns are 3-point favorites. Number's gone down from 3.5 to 3. The Eagles are dreadful. The Browns could barely beat the Texans. We got bad and worse here.
Eagles are awful. And this is the classic situational play where you take the Eagles here. Whenever they play good teams on the road where everyone leaves them for dead, they somehow win these games outright. So, in my mind, taking the Eagles here, I loved it at 3.5. The Sharps will obviously come in because the public is going to be all over the Browns this week. And I have to take the Eagles, especially if it's 3.5.
You are setting us up for the most miserable Sunday before Thanksgiving ever. This day is going to suck. We're going to bet the Jags, the Texans, the Eagles. Are you kidding me? This is how we're going to win $1 million. This is how we're going into it's game theory season, man. We got to be playing some chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And if chess means the Jags, the Texans, and the Eagles are going to be our pawn, our rook, and our knight, I don't know if I can live with that.
That's why this game's horning us, my friend. You got to walk in there with me.
Whoa. Did we walk into the hornet's nest?
We did, man. No one's walking in with us. No one wants to bet on the Eagles here. And we're due for a week of these ugly dogs winning and covering outright. It's been too steady of these favorites just winning outright. The Joe Schmo bettors, the guy that do these 10-team parlays of all the money lines, they've been cashing because these favorites have just been winning outright. So I'm ready for an ugly week. This is going to be a good dog week. I got a good feeling.
I feel like this is the week where we're putting our chips on the table. We're just going all in and we're saying we are going for the win this week, and we're going to choose all the teams that we know everyone ahead of us is not going to pick, and we're trying to make up it's like we're going for the home run. We are trying to make it all up in 1 week.
Not at all. These are just, you're getting good value here. This is how it gets late in the season, where you got to fade public perception. You can't really play what happened last week. You got to think about the whole piece and the team you're looking at. And in my mind, everyone this week in our competition, they're all going to be on the Browns. They're all going to be on the Patriots. So it is game 3 where if we hit these ones, these are double ups where we can get good gain on these guys ahead of us. So I'm with you. It's ugly. I don't feel great about it, but I have to play these numbers because they're good lines.
What you're saying is we got to see the whole board.
Gotta.
Little West Wing reference for the fans out there. Panthers on the road, 4.5 at the Saints. I mean, who knows what's happening with Drew Brees? So let's assume that he's not going to be playing for the next 2 weeks. Well, we know that. That's actually information that we know. The question is, Sean Payton has said he won't say who's starting Jameis or Taysom Hill. How do you rate this game? Let's assume it's going to be Jameis who gets the majority of the snaps. What do you have this number at?
And just for the fans out there, no one knows why Chad has Panthers on the mind, but it's the Atlanta Falcons at the Saints. And
did I say Panthers?
You did. You got the Panthers on your mind. We could put them in if they're in the back of your mind if you really want.
No, I don't want a piece of that. Why would I want a piece of the Panthers when I can go with the Jags and the Browns, or the Jags and the Texans and the Eagles?
Yeah, man. How can I power rate this? It's impossible to know without the quarterback, the most important position on the field. When I had this line with Drew Brees, I had it at -7. This is always a battle. I would have been really happy to take the Falcons because I probably would have been up there. But with Winston, if he's really going to be the starter, we know what Jameis is. Jameis is terrible. He might have these moments of brilliance where he throws a deep ball that's really good. And, hey, maybe he'll show up in this game, his first game as a starter, and play well. But in my mind, I have to take the Falcons here. It's a divisional game. If Winston's the quarterback, this should be -3. I'm happy to take the +5 right now.
Well, now you just kind of convinced me. It made me think maybe we got to put the Falcons in here too.
We might have to.
Well, we'll keep it on the list here. But I'm excited to have a Sunday where we get to add the Falcons, my least favorite team in NFL history, to our quest to win $1 million. Nothing would make me happier than a Sunday on the couch sitting with my 14-year-old son, with him watching me break down in ways that you cannot possibly conceive and would never want one of your children to see. By us betting on the Falcons.
I'll give you one good team this week. I can promise you that.
You can?
Yeah, one good team that you're just like, okay, at least I have this one good team this week.
Is it bet of the week?
No, because it's not gonna take that much better. That's how good this team is.
How are the Jags not our big bet of the week? Did we skip over that?
Should we make them? Because I want to give a winner. I feel bad for the people like that. I don't want to say how much money I lost in that 49ers game, buddy, but like, whew, that was a big bet for your guy here. And situationally, it was smart, but the referees, the special teams, I mean, I can't believe how many games got dictated by special teams last week. It feels like 3 different games dictated by special teams. And we haven't really had any of that this whole year. So
yeah,
you can read it all right, man. You can read it all right. It doesn't matter. It's gambling.
Well, listen, if you don't want to make the Jags the big bet of the week, we gotta come up with one soon. We got the Bengals on the road, 1.5-point dogs to the Washington football team. I spoke too soon. Alex Smith came back to bite me. What's your take?
An ugly game. This is like might be one of the few games I don't bet this year. Like if I'm gonna end up betting it, I'll probably end up on the Bengals. But man, I hate both these teams. I just like there's just so many holes in different spots. And we talked about it last week. I talked about Burrow hitting a rookie wall, and it looked like him and Herbert both hit one last week. And in my mind, you really shouldn't take a rookie on the road, but I don't know. I would stay away. Like I can't give an honest opinion on it because I honestly had it at -2 for Washington. They're the better team. They're probably the right side. But after last week with Alex Smith, and He's just. I don't like betting on him. I don't like betting on Alex Smith. That's why I don't want to do it again, because it was just so unenjoyable last week betting on him.
Alex Smith, I think, is a professional quarterback, and he has succeeded in every single spot he's been in. He just came out of a game where he threw 55 passes and brought his team back from 21 points down. The Washington football team has an incredibly good defensive line. They have a good enough running game to control the line of scrimmage. Joe Burrow looked like a wreck against the Steelers, and he was a little bit gimpy.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you take – everyone's going to take Washington. That's what's making me nervous. It's like, do I win it back?
Yeah, but they're not going to take Washington. Right now, I'm telling you, the money and the bets are coming in on the Bengals. You know why? Because everyone is still thinking about Washington as Washington. They're not thinking about them as a team that could be sort of playing its way into the playoffs in the second half of the year. Whereas everybody else is thinking, oh, it's Joe Burrow. And like he might be rookie of the year. They didn't watch that game against the Steelers. That game didn't get any time. So like they're just thinking Joe Burrow came back and is like the best young quarterback in the game. I like Washington here.
All right. That's Chad. You want to make that the big bet of the week? Because that takes some balls to bet on a pirate, the one-legged man, Alex Smith.
Oh, that is not right. This man is courage. Big bet of the week. We're going with Washington. I can't believe I just talked myself into Washington. I hate this team.
Something's in that water, man.
We're doing it. Washington. Don't take it out. Oh, my God. That was a mistake. We're going to have like the worst Sunday ever.